Welcome back. I came across a position in one of my recent rapid games over on Lichess just a few days ago that should probably be made into a puzzle. It's an endgame situation, and it is my opponent's turn. As you can see from the move list, both my opponent and I had several blunders following this position. My opponent has several moves that will draw. They can play king to e6, they can play b5, and they can play a5. Any of those moves would continue this drawn position at this point. But my opponent blundered. What they played was king to g6, and I assumed that their intent was to come over here to get this pawn or to prevent my pawn from coming up, but it doesn't matter. If I did bring that pawn up and they did capture it, then this pawn is free for me to take, which is kind of what I was hoping that they would do. I was hoping that they would move here, so I was waiting for them. So I played a waiting move here, but I wasn't supposed to. There's only one move that wins for me in this position, and that's to go here. I'm still trying to figure that out. What does that do? Well, it keeps them from coming back in front of it for one thing. And again, if they go over there, I could take that pawn. But instead I waited. I played f3. I thought, oh, I'll wait because it looks like they're going for this pawn. So I played f3, but then they didn't go for that pawn. Their best move, the only move that maintains drawing for my opponent, is to come back here behind this pawn. But instead, they played that, which a second ago allows us to draw, but now it's a blunder. And the reason it's a blunder is because, of course, I can take it, which I did. And now, if they take back, I have the same move I had over here earlier, which is to get beside this pawn and keep their king from coming back. If they don't take it, I have a passed pawn. So no matter what they do, I'm in good shape here. They did play their best move, which is to take, but it doesn't matter because now I get over here. But I didn't see that. What I still saw was their king over here, and I thought, I can take this pawn if I check them. That turns out to be a blunder. I actually have two winning moves here. It says I can drop back one and still have a slight advantage according to Stockfish. But yes, in a puzzle, definitely you would want to move here. Had I moved here, again, this keeps my opponent from coming back. They can't come forward and they have to move, which means they can't keep defending this pawn. Well, they can move both of these pawns, but if they move this one, I'll take it, right? Because f4, yeah, I would capture there. What do I do if they play here? Then I play this, right? And then they can't stay there defending that pawn. That's what I should have played. It seems obvious now in hindsight, but instead, I checked them because this was my thinking. They'll take, and then I'll get this pawn, and my king will be in front of this one, and I'll go down there and promote. But instead, this gives my opponent an advantage. It doesn't even take us back to drawn. My opponent just gets back in front of their pawn, and none of my pawns can move, so I have to move my king. And I did choose the best move, which is here, but that allows them to come here with the opposition, or here, and, oh wait, it says if they come here in front of me, that would be drawn again. Oh, because I could check and it would be protected. So they went the other way. And now if I check, they win this pawn. Of course, checking is not my best move here. It is to play king to d4, but my opponent would still have an advantage. But instead I checked, of course, and so they took that pawn, and now I have to move. And it's over. It doesn't look like it's over, but there's no way I can stop that pawn. Their king's in front of it. I suppose I could have tried coming here to try to get in front of that pawn, but I think they could force me out. What happens if I'd gone this way? They would just move forward, right? Yeah, and no matter which way I go, then they can get next to that pawn, and this pawn goes. But what if I go this way? They would get next to my pawn. And yeah, they get that one. So now it doesn't matter that I'm blocking this pawn. Okay, so it didn't matter which way that I went. But back in the original position, if I had recognized that my opponent blundered and gave me that, I would have won this game. Hopefully that was instructive to you, that this keeps them from protecting that pawn. They would have had to have moved another pawn or brought their king over here, and I would have won this one either way. Putting these back in my brain, hopefully next time these similar situations come up, I will recognize what's going on. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you got something from this, and we'll see you next time.